What's going on there, YouTube? Chilling with Twisted 420 here once again. And people, it's been 1 month. 1 month since I first got this Xiaomi Mi Mix 3. Roughly about a month, so whatever. And I gotta say one thing. I'm absolutely in love. This thing has been fantastic. Now, a lot of people probably know about it by now. Some bigger names have gotten a hold of them. They've been doing videos on them. And plus, they're readily available in the US, the global variant specifically. And I gotta say, it's been a proper phone. And when I say that, it's like, I remember the first Mi Mix. That's when the Xiaomi first got on my radar. With the first Mi Mix, I was like, oh, that's so cool. It's bezel-less. Then they had the Mi Mix 2. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool too. But something told me not to pull the trigger. But finally, they came out with the Mi Mix 3. And it's just been fantastic. There's been a lot of phones. I've been getting into phones more, getting them, grabbing them, touching on them for review purposes. And so some of them say global, coming from China. Some of these Chinese brands, they say global, but not all the LTE bands work. Thankfully, I'm on Straight Talk. Been with them for like 10 plus years. All bands work here 100%. This has been a proper global variant, I must say. And it's just been working great, man. All my Google stuff, everything, it just works flawlessly. But we got some stuff to talk about. Some things I've learned. I'll talk about some things I like. Some things I don't absolutely love. But yeah, we might as well get all into it and discuss the Xiaomi Mi Mix 3 Global Edition, okay, folks? And for starters, let's talk about something that surprised the shit out of me. The battery. You know, the battery may only be 3,200 milliamp hour. But I gotta say, there's something going on with Xiaomi software, MIUI, and being that it's on Android 9.0, that I get better battery life and screen on time on this than I have on some larger battery devices. Right here, take a gander. We're looking at 6 hours, 12 minutes, 35 seconds screen on time. And this in particular test, this day I was using the shit out of it. I was using the phone non-stop and still managed to get over 6 hours. I gotta say, that's impressive. That was one thing I was like, oh, maybe I should get the Honor Magic 2 because it's got a bigger battery. But I gotta say, the battery has been quite the surprise in this case. I don't know what they got, what kind of magic they got in there, but it's working great. Now we gotta talk about the star of the show real quick, just a second. This beautiful screen, 6.4 inch, Super AMOLED, HDR. It's bright, it looks great. I can't complain. And it really, this bezel-less action, I don't take many selfies. I don't take a whole shit ton of them. I have taken some just for test purposes. But since I don't take a lot of selfies, I'm just mainly dealing with nothing but screen. And it's made me kind of resent some of my other phones that have notches and other things, or big chins. Now this guy does have a little bit of chin at the bottom. He's got a little bit of chin, but it's acceptable. It's not that bad. And I gotta say, I'm just in love with this bezel-less screen. This is the way moving forward all future smartphones should be. At some point, I want us just to be holding just an all screen. Just, you know what I mean? Just nothing but screen. I think it's awesome. I think it looks cool. And it's been quite functional. I love it. Most of the apps, pretty much every app that I use on the regular scales to the screen. I have no issues, no cropping. It's just been fantastic, man. I absolutely love the screen on this thing. Oh yeah, folks, and just keep in mind, I don't claim to be a professional tech reviewer. I'm just a guy that likes tech. I'm really a vape reviewer, so I'm kind of handling these tech reviews, kind of like my vape reviews. They're all over the place. There's not a shit ton of detail, but I'm giving you the info that I want you to know, okay? And the next information that I want to give you are phone cases. Yeah, we got to talk about cases a little bit. Now, I found a few cool ones. Now, of course, it comes in the box original with that little thin case that matches the phone's color. And it's thin, it works, kinda, but you don't want to drop it with that case on there. So I ordered a few different cases. I only got like 3, but one of them is just ugly. I don't know what. I thought it looked cool. I ordered it. It's not a good look. It's kind of trying to do the whole gradient finish thing, but it make it look like a Huawei or Honor phone. It's not a good look. Not my thing. But I got these 2 other cases, and I don't remember the names of all these. I will put links in the description. I think I got them all on eBay or Amazon. But yeah, I got these other 2 cases. They got this leather look to them. And I gotta say, they look nice, and they offer a decent bit of protection. They got a little bit of lip on the front, and yeah, they feel nice. I kind of like the leather look and feel. Feels good in the hand. And yeah, they're not bad. They're actually working out pretty good, and thankfully I haven't dropped it or anything. But I think they provide pretty decent protection. But if you're one of those people that want like OtterBox type protection and stuff, they have other cases out there like that, but that's just not my bag. Just real quick, I want to touch on the software experience. I gotta say, I thought I was gonna want to put a launcher on this thing, but MIUI has not been bad. Other than the not having an app drawer thing, I just kind of put my most used apps on the first 2 pages. Other than that, I've really enjoyed it. All the different themes and options and the ways you can tweak things and change the UI, I think are really cool. It doesn't get in the way of a lot of other apps as well. It's not too intrusive. And it's super snappy. 6 gigs of RAM on my model in particular, and it seems like more than enough. I never have any slowdown, any jerkiness. It flies through everything, it runs everything. You can game on it if you're into that. I'm not hardcore into it, but I did test a couple of games. You can do whatever you want. It's really smooth. The whole experience has been smooth, and I gotta say that I've pretty much enjoyed it. And I really like the gesture system that they got here. It's just like the one that Huawei is using on their stuff with the Mate 20s and everything, or pretty much just Huawei and Honor. But yeah, I love the swiping motions. I've gotten super used to it, and now that's my preferred thing. If I pick up my Pixel and other phones, I'm like, shit, I wish it had this gesture control. It's just become very intuitive. It just seems natural, and I like it. So I just want to touch on that for a little bit. The software is A-okay. Okay, now the last big thing I want to touch on, we're going to talk about a couple other miscellaneous things, but the last big thing I want to touch on, the only thing I was really slightly disappointed about with this phone, and I guess they kind of gassed it up with the DxO marks and all that, and that's the camera. Now the front-facing camera is pretty good. I did take some selfies and test it out and try it out. It seems nice. Take some good portrait type photos. You get good shallow depth of field. Everything looks really nice. Surprisingly, really nice. You got a flash up there. All kinds of good stuff going for it. But the rear sensors, now you could set it into manual mode and really dig into some stuff and get some nice photos out of this thing. But on routine, what most people do and what I like to do, I usually trust most phones. I can pick them up in automatic mode. The Pixel, the Mate 20X, a lot of other ones, and they just take great pictures right out of the box. The problem that I found with the Mi Mix 3 is that it tends to overexpose a bit. Now it still retains detail, seems to have some pretty good dynamic range, but it just seems to want to overexpose or blow most photos out. Now I've tweaked it, you can play with it, of course you can slide the thing and do some stuff. It just looks overexposed a little bit. But for the most part it's a pretty good camera. In a pinch, I did find in some cases where I was like, oh man, I wish I had either my Mate 20X or my Pixel 2 XL or one of my other phones with me just because of the camera. This would be pretty much my favorite phone, hands down, if I could just take like the Pixel 2 camera or the Pixel 3 camera and stick it on here. But it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not my favorite, okay? That's what I'm saying. It's not my favorite camera phone. And that's really the only thing holding this thing back from being like one of my goats, you know what I mean? So a couple of little things that I want to talk about while using this thing. This AI button on the side. You can assign this button on the left to different things, but I use it for Google Assistant. Comes in handy. You want to trigger it? You don't want to even say anything. You don't even want to say Google. You just hit the button, triggers Google Assistant. I like that. I think that's pretty cool. The speaker. Now at first I was kind of underwhelmed by the speaker, but after using it and testing it and watching some media on it and playing some games and different stuff, this single speaker is not bad. It's not bad. Okay, it is. I've heard worse. It actually sounds decent. Sounds decent for a single bottom fire speaker. It's not bad. It's okay. That's one other thing I wanted to touch on. Another thing, the fingerprint scanner on the back. It's in a very natural position. A lot of people like that position. Super duper fast. Super duper fast. I don't really use any kind of locks or anything on my phones. But if you were into that, thing's super quick. Super duper quick. Also, the build quality on this thing seems to be good. I feel like it's gonna last, and I do absolutely. I love sliding it. That is one of the most addictive things, especially all the different sounds you can attach to it and do. Overall, people, well, here's what I'm saying. The Mi Mix 3 has exceeded my expectations in most regards. I wish the camera was a little bit better, but for the most part, this is a solid son of a bitch. In most places, I think it's selling for like $550, $600. Here in the US, you can get it. And that's not bad, man. It's not bad. Unlocked, I get everything works perfect. Google Maps in other cities, everything worked perfect. Full LTE speeds everywhere I go, on Straight Talk specifically. But do your research, people. If you're looking at some of these Chinese phones and different things, check your LTE bands. They may say international, they may say global, but check the LTE bands with your carrier and the phone to make sure you're going to get 100%. Because the worst thing is thinking you got a good phone. You be off somewhere. Your Google Maps not working right. You're not getting full LTE. You're getting HSPA plus. You're just having a bad time, okay? And I try to avoid those phones from here on out. Damn you, Mate 20X. Could have been the perfect phone for me. I'm actually what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn the Mate 20X into an emulator station. And I'm gonna load it up with some stuff and we're gonna make a video about it. So yeah, we'll come back and check that out. But yeah, people, I hope you enjoyed my 1 month look at the Mi Mix 3. Overall, I've been quite impressed. I love this phone. Just wish I had a slightly better camera. And that's what I got for you. I'll put links in the description to cases and all the other stuff. And yeah, until next time, you guys stay sexy out there. I am out.